The growing calls across the nation to defund the police.
To end policing as we know it.
Shootings in New York City have more than doubled this year.
It's the smoke coffee break. I don't know what it is. It's one of those two things. Coffee break, smoke break. Accidentally right on time. Same here. Woke up a bit ago, really out of sorts, and then kind of rolled around in bed for a while, not like trying to judge whether or not I felt good today. And then I was like, oh, yeah, the show starts in like 6 minutes, so I guess I better, completely get out of bed, get dressed, put up the computer, and then get on the internet. But then I was like, yeah, I've done this plenty of times. So good morning to everybody, I guess. If you celebrate morning, Felony's here, Jenny's here, Tyler's here. I like that you found a generic cigarette emoji. That's nice to have. By the way, has everyone here smoked before? I have technically smoked before, although I didn't enjoy it. I know my sister has smoked, which was the wrong thing to do. It made you a bad person. Can you hear me now? I'm not muted. The microphone's got like a thing in it. I'm not on mute. Can you hear me at all? There you are. Okay, it's not mute. There's a little ghost in the machine right here. So like if I accidentally touch the mic, it mutes me. So I always a surprising number of people watch the show after it's live. I'll go back and I'll look at YouTube Studio to see if I should delete this entry or whatever. And then it'll be like, oh, 35 people watch this. And I'm like, who are these 35 people? I mean, I guess if you open yourself up to the entire internet, 8 billion people, 35 is a reasonable number of people to expect. It doesn't mean that they watched all the way through. But 5 people watching me on a Monday morning kind of suggests that I should never, ever do the show again. Right? I don't know. I mean, I do it for fun, and I've always done it for a very small number of people, but I'm wondering why I get out of bed when I don't feel good to do this for a small return on investment, which is not to downplay you guys, but I don't know. Maybe I'm just forgetting that I'm not on ComCenter anymore. I'm just on Jonathan, which it's not even a name of a channel. It's just my actual name. Maybe I shouldn't be surprised that there's not many people here. Maybe I should just give you the show that you all want. And stop wondering and complaining. You switch some stuff up, give people a chance to get used to the change. No. No. Well, then there's some people like Abby where she's like, oh, I can't find you. And I'm like, well, you don't know how to use YouTube. So what do? And then some people are just asleep. Like, let's face it, gang, I'm real big in other countries. Let's just go to the memes. There's so many memes. There's no reason for me to prattle on and on today. Let the memes speak for themselves. I'm just here to read the memes and go home. Here's what's trending in my algorithm. And I mentioned this the other day on Hard Time. So if you watched that episode of Hard Time, I'm sorry that you got this one twice. Gave a head nod to a black guy at work, which was not only not reciprocated, but was met with a hostile African glare. I cut the brother some slack and kept it moving, though. I know he's under some serious economic strain. This is how white people think about black people, whether you want to admit it or not. I know he's under a lot of socioeconomic strain. Guy could make more money than you, and you'd think that because we're just all so conditioned to think of that. Poor them. I can't wait for World War I to end so we can finally get rid of this temporary income tax. Oh, the income tax is temporary? Woodrow Wilson passed the income tax to help us get through World War I. Hopefully, someday the Great War will come to an end. It was supposed to be the war to end all wars, not the war that would just keep going after 120 years, but whatever. It's funny how desperate I am for a genuine human connection, despite the lengths I go to avoid it. You know, some memes are just for me. Someone out there caught a glimpse of me in their mind's eye. And in this case, it was partial veil. And that person or AI wrote this. It would be funnier if this was written by AI because, like, can you imagine the AI desperate for human connection? I think there's been a couple movies about that. This is by Dr. Eric Spankel, doctor of psychology, I guess. Is that literally how you put their doctorate? Maybe it is. I never thought about it. Anyway, I kind of doubt that this man is a doctor of psychology based off of his tweet. I finally got my average resting heart rate down to 65 beats per minute. Only 65 more to go. This, of course, speaks to me. I have always felt this way about people because I've lived in different parts of the country. Really just two parts, but pretty different parts. But yeah, my state's weather is so bipolar. Like one day it could be sunny, the next it could be raining. Or you know what's something that I hate? All states, no matter where you live. I've heard this in multiple states because sometimes you're visiting a state and some local person gives you a chestnut like this. Well, we're fond of saying here in Texas, if you don't like the weather, wait 5 minutes. They say that here where I live too. They said that in Virginia where I came from. Every single person believes that where they live, the weather there is somehow novel and incomparable to anywhere else. I like to tell little side stories, I guess. When I first moved to the upper Midwest where I live, I remember I was going to go get a haircut. And I didn't know anything about anything, and I had no friends. I mean, you know, you think I have no friends now, but now it's by choice. Back then, I just had friends that I moved away from. So I was a little lonesome. I remember I was going to get a haircut, a super cut in the mall of all things. I figured my life out since then. But I'm being a little chatty with the hairdresser. And then and we're at the mall, so I'm like, "What do you do? How do you know where to park when the parking lot's covered by snow and you can't see the lines?" Guys, remember I'm 19. This is before I stopped giving a fuck where I park, even in the summertime. I'll park on the landscaping. I don't care. And she says, "Well, you just kind of do the best you can," which is the truth. And then we were talking a little bit about where I'm from. And then she's like, "Yeah, out here in this state where we are right now," she says, "we have all 4 seasons." And I said, "Damn near as I can tell, you only have summer and winter. What are you talking about 4 seasons?" Where I'm from Virginia, like the fall extended through late November. Like you got to Thanksgiving and like you really weren't in wintertime yet. And it was beautiful. I miss the days of, and it doesn't always snow before Thanksgiving here, but it's just like you were assured to not have snow before Thanksgiving. In fact, where I live, more or less, you were assured to not have snow. It was only the occasional thing where you would finally have snow. Let's go to the chats. I like to address the chats once I have 10. He is a sex positive doc. Okay, I don't know what that means. We should all be sex negative. I just paused that episode of Hard Time for the smoke break. Oh, sorry. I don't know that it's the best episode of Hard Time ever. I'm trying to remember it. I think it's an okay episode. I think it's just a lot of me reading a PBS article. If it doesn't serve you, then don't do it. That's all about Jonathan. This is the thing is that I don't like letting people down. I don't like telling people no. And kind of once I start a commitment, I don't ever know how to ever stop it. So that's why I'm in the situation that I'm in. By the way, the situation is now more effed up than ever. I'll just say that generally. I hated the movie AI. I don't think I ever saw that. Was that one with one of those cute child actors where he's playing a robot? Haley Joel Osment. I remember one where it was like for some reason all of a sudden the plot advanced 1,000 years or something, and I'm just like, well, you threw me here. I was nothing was really moving at work yesterday, so I had a chance. I was going to watch a movie on YouTube for free, and I could have watched Bicentennial Man or some other movies, but I chose to watch Interstellar instead. So I tend not to try new movies. Instead, I watched Interstellar for probably the 5th or 6th time. My state is quadpolar. Do you mean Iowa? Because if so, tell you that you are just fitting in with that meme. There's nothing unique about the weather in Iowa. I'm happy to tell you. Anyway, hi in LA. So far, no riots. Our show might be about that this week. Drew and I are having some Karen Reed fatigue, as I'm sure you all are. And so late last night, like way past the time in which I was actually able to work on any kind of an asset, he's texting me like, hey, what do you want to do tomorrow? And I'm like, well, what's in the news? Well, I Googled body cams and 911s, and I didn't really come up with much other than there was an attack on an ICE facility, and they released some 911 body cams. And I thought, well, this is a great idea. We could jump on some SEO, some search engine optimization, because this is something that's going on in the news. And then I was like, so we alienated a lot of our newly found audience by taking a stand that Karen Reed might be guilty. Let's alienate the rest that have stayed behind by taking some kind of stand on immigration, one way or the other, whatever it would be. We're likely to chase some people away, but maybe we can approach it from a purely police perspective and not at all political. Are we allowed to address the fact that immigration without proper documentation is a federal crime? Probably not, right? Anyway. I miss not having snow. That's very strange to me, Christy, because I can recall you just this past winter sending me pictures outside your house of deep, deep snow. You got more snow this year than I did. Tyler, of course, lives in Canada, which means it's snow 11 months a year there. So I can understand why he feels that way. I don't like the term John tent, by the way. I would like to retire that. I'm not a big guy of portmanteaus. Yes, HJO, and it was terrible. I don't know what that means. I don't like initials either. Refer to everything. No condensing anything into a portmanteau. No initials. That was sarcasm. It was hard to show sarcasm in words. Oh, okay. Sorry. I didn't mean to come at you. Very much Karen Reed fatigue. Yes. Well, the problem is that when the cow's giving milk, when do you stop milking the cow? I think the answer was 2 weeks ago. The biggest unique quality about Iowa has, as people have been told me, is that Iowa stands for idiots out wandering aimlessly. I have heard that before, and I don't think that's nice. My sister clarifies to say, yes, I miss not having it. We get it more than I want it. No snow in Virginia. Yes, every week I say something that my sister says. I was re-listening to the show last week because I didn't understand what she was saying. So I went back through and listened to what she was saying. Yes, let us retire that for all time. I don't want to have to delete comments on the threads. Chase, good morning. I'm vacuuming my car so you get what you get. I need to do that. All right. You can attack randomly at me. I'm the one that has the audacity to get on the internet thinking that even 5 people want to hear what I have to say. I think if you do want to attack me, that is fine. I will just leave. Anyway, is he, corrupted by an amulet? Tell me you could still hear me, by the way, because I did touch the microphone. So, and I accidentally touch it. You cannot hear me. No one's telling me I'm on mute, so I guess I'm still going. They're all chatting. That's fine. No one cares about that amulet meme. I thought it was funny. Mom's being corrupted by the amulet. All right. Here we go. Everyone gets to fight now. Women love feminism because, quote, fighting the patriarchy is easier than learning culinary skills, losing weight, being pleasant, and taking ownership. Ooh, who hates me for putting that on the screen? I stand by for hate. Normally, I just sort of wait for the hate to come, or I don't wait for the hate. I'm going to go ahead and just wait for it. I thought it was funny because although not universally true, it is at least true for some of them. My inner fantasy lover enjoyed the amulet. Thank you. Somebody. Oh, hate, she says. She hates that. I don't hate you. Richard needs a mirror. Is that who posted it, Richard? No hate. Okay. I think it's funny, and it's mostly true. Jonathan Bates, I'm coming for you. Why don't you take some accountability for your anger there instead of coming for me? Because I didn't write this. Richard Cooper did. I don't know. Why does it piss you off? Is it because it's possible that some of this is true? If this was all not true, then you would just laugh at it, right? I think losing weight is maybe a little bit too far. And as far as being pleasant, I guess I would say men aren't expected to be pleasant. Why are women expected to be pleasant? If a man's not pleasant, then he's just like a man. Like men are assholes. That's like a default setting. But if a woman's not pleasant, she gets called a bitch. I don't think that's fair. And as far as taking ownership, I don't really know what that means because I've never owned anything in my life. I want if I was going to start another charity, and I've had a charity before. It was called Guns for Kids. If I was going to start another charity, it would be about raising stereotypes, raising awareness about stereotypes. You posted it, nerd. Yeah. And look, it got my audience riled up. Made you feel something. I could have posted another meme about like which potato is the right kind of potato, mashed fries. And then we could argue about that. It is a scientific fact that women lose and hold on to weight differently, without doubt. Yeah. Also, I'm a big boy. That's not what feminism is about. Okay. So the same people who are defining what feminism is are also the same people who go around saying perception is reality, though. So is perception reality or is perception not reality? Because many men, so up to 50% of the population, but not 50%, many men perceive feminism this way, but their perception's not reality. Are we going to qualify it now to say the perception of the majority is reality? Because all of a sudden now that's what you have is called mob rule, where because most people say so, it's right. So I'm wondering, are you impressed by my skill to double talk about anything? Because that's what I'm really trying to impress. She probably left. Because who needs to import crap into your life? It's a Monday morning and this show's supposed to be fun. Women are taught at an early age to be nice and hold your negative thoughts in. I was taught this too, though. But I also went to a Mennonite school, so. Felony says, I'm not pleasant, I can't cook, and I'm fat. Jenny says, Jonathan, you know that is a lie, that it is acceptable for men to be unpleasant. Maybe it's not acceptable. I mean, I certainly don't like it when men are unpleasant, but you don't see a man being unpleasant and think that guy's a bastard. It's just like that guy's a guy. Maybe it's a cultural thing around here, but like I know a lot of guys who are just their default mode is unpleasant. And if a woman behaved the same way those men behaved, they would be called bitches, whereas the guys don't get called anything. I think my sister would call that a 2 standard. It's also a fact that women are great coming up with reasons not to get shit done. I don't know. Men can be that way too. I wasn't aware I was a feminist until I looked up the definition. Yeah, I don't throw in with anybody because that's how they get you. They say, are you a feminist? You're like, no, I'm not a feminist. And you're like, oh, well, here's what it means. It just means this. And you're like, oh, yeah, I guess I'm a feminist. And then they're like, okay, so you're a feminist? And you're like, yeah, I think so. And they're like, well, it also means this. Because you're like, damn it. You got me. They'll like record you saying I'm a feminist. And then they'll be like, well, it also means this. Because it's not fixed. They'll change what it means. Rush Limbaugh liked to say that only ugly women were feminists. And if it were pretty and get a man, wouldn't care about feminism. I could recall him saying some things like that. I would add to Rush Limbaugh to say that we have all kinds of feminism as a result of a comfortable life. I think I think if we were in an existential war, I don't think there would be as much feminism. I think that there would be a lot of hope that I think YouTube was listening. A little dialogue box came up and said, you've had too much to think. Whoops. Sorry, world. Oh, that was funny. What's going on here? Why does it turn my camera off if I throw up a comment? That's weird. I don't even know if I'm still on the air. I don't know if you can see me or not. Someone said they can see me. That way I know to keep going. Otherwise, I'll just go to bed. I don't need to do this. I don't need to bring down the internet's hate for me. I don't know why it turns off my camera when I throw a comment on the screen. That kind of makes me think it's not working. It's working, but there's now a trans flag behind you. I'll be right back. Don't nobody go nowhere. Okay. There we go. Okay. It was one of those things where you just have to leave the studio and come back for no reason. The Rush Limbaugh quote sounds like your dad. Yeah, Dad didn't really say things like that. I was a big fan of Rush Limbaugh, though. The thing is about Rush Limbaugh is that he actually he would differentiate between feminists and what he called feminazis. And I think there is a militarized or militant feminism, second wave feminism, that was very different than first wave feminism. But we don't have to get all into the sociology of everything. It's just a meme time. Those who really care about it will listen to and then advocate. That's correct. That is the job of other people besides me. There's a huge Mennonite population in Iowa. I know. I can openly admit I'm a bitch, but only in an endearing way. I try to stir the pot. I don't believe that. You can believe whatever you want to believe. And John's gone and back. The fem's got him. That was pretty weird, wasn't it? All right, John, you criminal. How dare you? How dare you? You know, sometimes I just say things to see because I think any idea deserves dissection. Just as a perspective, women got the right to vote over 100 years ago. They did. And who gave them the right? Men. You are welcome, women. Look what you did with it. All right. It's defined as equal rights, and I'm good with that. This fun fact for TALU is that Iowa was it may still be called this, but the equality state, because they were the first state to grant women the right to vote, and they had to do this so that they would have enough voters in order to qualify for statehood. So the state of Iowa granted women the right to vote as a political ploy. Federal government's like, well, you're Iowa territory because you don't have enough voters there. And they're like, we got enough voters. And they're like, no, you don't. And you're like, we let the women vote here. And they're like, okay, you could be a state then, I guess. Is it the most feminist to be submissive? Is that a question for me or for the group? And downfall of man started 100 years ago. Tyler, you're not even from this country. Tyler's all like, yeah, when we let the women vote, like, you're in a different country. The group, okay. I'll let the group talk on that. I feel like my feed's going to go down if I say anything on that. Let's go back to the memes and away from this brutal social discourse, which has cost me about half my viewers because I got up to about 11 and now I'm down to 5. So this is something brand new that I've noticed. I guess I wouldn't say it's brand new, but it's something that came new to my feed. It's the overheard courthouse account, and I love it. 2 cops are in an elevator talking to each other after being cross-examined. Cop 1. He asked me, what does DNA stand for? Well, what did you say? I don't know what it stands for. I'm not some asshole scientist. I'm just a fucking cop. I'm not a scientist. Stands for some long ass shit. Yeah, sometimes less is more when you're testifying. Don't say on the stand that it stands for some long ass shit. Here's another one. Defendant comes on video screen for bench warrant hearing. Judge. Bigamy. That's a new one. What's the plea offer? The district attorney says, the plea offer is to pay for and get a divorce. By the way, that's a really good plea offer. If you're not going to prison, because bigamy is a felony. Believe me, I checked. Judge says, so you're married to 2 women right now? The defendant says, yes. The judge is like, I guess that was an admission. Maybe I shouldn't ask any more questions. The judge was so curious about whether or not this guy was actually a bigamist that he asked the defendant straight up, so are you guilty of bigamy? Which, the judge doesn't normally ask them if they are guilty of the crime, because you're not allowed to lie to the judge. So the judge doesn't normally just straight up ask you that. You have a right to a trial where both sides, have to prove. But if you just tell the judge, like, how could you have a proceeding after that? It's just like, well, I sentence you to, you can't take the plea. You know what I mean? He just admitted to it. So it's like, well, I guess you're guilty. You have to almost say like, well, I'm going to grant somehow I'm going to grant a mistrial right now at a plea hearing. Anyway, I thought that was great. So here's the situation that should unite all fronts. Big mixing bowls of cereal. People are mixing the cereal. You look in your lower right-hand corner, you'll see, I believe, Cinnamon Toast Crunch mixed with Fruity Pebbles. I would never do that. On the other hand, French toast is frequently improved by fruit, so I almost wonder if that would be a good move. I feel like French toast with crunch berries would be the way to go. Then it looks like we have some sort of peanut butter and cocoa pebbles, possibly just Reese's Puffs, and 4 big gallons of milk. This works for me. It would ruin me nutritionally, but I'm all in for it. Also, I would eat this spaghetti off of a car seat. It's been so long since I've had pasta, I would eat this. Sorry, my car's a mess. You could just throw that in the back. That looks good. That's how long it's been for me. Well, that puts a certain kind of stain on our progressive history in Iowa. Why is that a stain? Did what you had to do, I guess. You were willing to resort to any desperate measure in order to qualify for statehood a little bit earlier. I don't think that's a stain. I think you have plenty. I think Iowans have plenty of other things to be ashamed of. This past weekend in Des Moines, probably. I don't know. My grandma just had an ambulance for a great aunt for a possible stroke. That's not good. How long ago were the symptoms? You alienate half your viewership, then why you don't have any viewers? Let me ask you this. Were they ever my viewers? If anything, I said alienated them. I don't have any desire to be friends with the entire world. I don't love this world, and I don't love the people in it. I don't mean that in a mean way. It's just like I'm not going to conform to the world. And if half the people leave because of what I say, then goodbye. I'm not here to appeal to everybody. And I'm not going to change myself so that I can be appealing to everyone, because how do you even do that? Why would I want to? I would hope everybody tells me to go to hell, and then I just understand. and then I could sit on the porch and drink some juice on Monday morning. It would be fine. Soggy cereal matters. Yeah, that's the major downside of making a big bowl of cereal. How do you eat it that fast? Chase, I hope your family member, your great aunt or I'm sorry, whatever it is you said that it was. I hope she's okay. Your grandma. If you're a great aunt, I hope your great aunt is okay. If they can, everything, Chase. You're a firefighter. If they can get to her in time and push thrombolytics, and hopefully it's just not severe, then hopefully she'll be all right. But if it's her second one, I think you also know well too that she's in some trouble, and hopefully it turns out okay. So prayers for Chase's great aunt that everything will be okay. Vacuum your car before you eat spaghetti. But then I assume you're at that point you're vacuuming up the Parmesan. You could try Miracle Workers noodles. They're zero everything, and I think keto. I get a lot of ads for like keto approved ramen, also in my algorithm, but they're really expensive. Kind of one of the cool things about ramen is that it's like 59 cents a thing. The keto approved is like $5. It's very expensive. I prefer leather seats for car spaghetti. What happened in Des Moines? Nothing. John, we can all go to hell together. Should people who want to be your viewers have to hear you say harmful BS about them and stick around because you won't change? No, people can do whatever they want to do. No one has to do anything. And if so, choice is powerful. So people who want to be your viewers have to hear? Well, then that's their choice. If they don't want to have to hear harmful BS, which I don't think anything I said is harmful because words are not harmful, sticks and stones and all that. So you can choose. I guess if you want to choose to be harmed by words, which are not being directed at anyone, and even if I did direct them at anyone, they're mere words and they can have no more power over you or your emotions than you grant them because they are mere words. If you want to not enjoy hearing my quote unquote harmful BS, then don't view. I don't know. I feel like I'm not holding a gun to anybody here. I don't feel like I'm twisting anyone's arm. Sorry about that, Chase. That does complicate matters. I'm hoping the doctors know what to do and they'll be able to take right action on that. That's his prerogative, but then don't complain. That's right. No complaining. Actually, that's the thing. Here's the thing is that it cuts both ways. You actually get to have it your way too here. That if you want to be my viewer and you don't want to hear me, you can stay and complain. Everybody gets what they want here. Everybody gets to do whatever they want. Do it. We treat freedom like a license here, I guess. The idea of spaghetti commingling with all those butt remnants of passengers of the past is too much. All right. I promise to never show that meme again. Not intentionally. Let's move on. Unfortunately, I have stacked this week with provocative memes. I didn't realize this one was next. Working out is right wing. Liking hot girls is right wing. Eating red meat is right wing. That's what they're saying, by the way. They are saying this. I've heard this in various corners, and you can see there's an article from Newsweek there and MSNBC. And now they're saying we need $20 million to understand why young men hate us. Well, seems like you understand why young men hate you. You want to hang out tomorrow? I actually performed an activity yesterday. Please wait the 3-day recovery period to submit another inquiry. There should be a 3-day waiting period between activities. I would put mine at 6. Actually, it's funny. I was talking to Dewey. Now it would be 8 days ago. And he's just like, whenever church is over, you leave church so fast, I can never talk to you. I'm just like, church has to be like one of the most, good and welcoming places that you can be. And I scoot out of there as fast as possible. I can't be around people anymore. Not good at it. Those beautiful naked women have made a compelling argument, and I am going to steer the ship into those rocks. You ever wonder what was part of the thought process there? When they saw the sirens, I don't know. It gets lonely on the high seas, though. Maybe it was a ship full of Republican women, and they thought the hot girls were worth destroying the ship over. Here's another one. Oh, nope, I already showed that one. All right. Boil up some Mountain Dew. It's going to be a long night. You could have said anything else. Cauldron boil and cauldron bubble. Baja blast to fuel my trouble. What is that? The Tempest? Somebody check my Shakespeare. Jeff Foster, tired of birds. So he's literally out there with an air horn scaring birds away. How is that less annoying than birds? Also, props to Chill Blinton for posting this with the Nelly Furtado song, I'm Like a Bird. I'm with you, Jeff. Jeff Foster on the Weather Channel, tired of birds. So he is out there with his air horn scaring birds away. Jeff, I think it's going to be a losing battle for you. I have decided to never make a mistake ever again. Just something to be excited about. I think that is very exciting. You finally decided you're just going to get your shit straight. You got it all right. Finally locked in. No more mistakes, guys. I got this. It's very exciting. I wish I could make that claim, but I'm about to make like 17 more mistakes. I don't know what this is. You're looking at it, though. I don't know. Those crazy Catholics, what can I say? The NBA Finals. I hope all the players studied. Haha, just a little joke for you guys. I haven't been doing well recently. I got anger problems. I got sadness problems and joy problems. There's not a single emotion that I'm not problemed by. See what I mean? That my algo really, really, really understands me. And I don't even click like that much, but it must know that like when I hover over something, it must know that I like that. Starting a new show sucks. Who are these people? That is literally how I feel about a new TV show. You throw on something new and it's just like, well, I don't want to get to know these characters. I don't want to know all their ticks and things and what makes them work. And I want to, I think in some ways, some shows really lean hard into the appeal of the people on the show are your friends. Think about it, like Cheers and Friends. There's probably some other shows that are like that. But they kind of give you a feeling of hanging out with your friends. I think that's what podcasts are too. Not this particular podcast, because I think this one maybe, I won't say it defies description because that would kind of like to pat myself on the back. But it's definitely not about hanging out with me, I don't think. Maybe you feel like you are. Some of you Germans are all right. Don't go to Normandy tomorrow. I like this as if Dwight Eisenhower was on Twitter. This is what he said on June 5, 1944. D-Day, by the way, was last Friday. And then Erwin Rommel replying to, yeah, boy, Dwight. Thanks, fam. And the subtext of it, too. Very dark. Texting my doctor 2 beers in. Do you want to do any surgeries on me this weekend? Who has their surgeon's number? Good for that guy. This one obviously speaks to me, but in a therapeutic way. Because this is my cycle. I hate myself. Everyone's better than me. I hate everyone. I'm better than everyone. But I know this is a, MC Escher type self-fueling recursive problem. But I actually figured the way out of this. And I know what you're thinking. You have to fly through the center of the rhombus. No. Each of these 4 bullet points, each of these corners, if you want to call them that, contain the word I or me. It's this person who thinks this way. I hate myself. Everyone's better than me. I hate everyone. I'm better than everyone. They're self-obsessed. And I'm a little self-obsessed. And whether I'm focusing on my hatred for myself or my self-adulation, my mind is on me, and that's not where it should be. My mind should be on other people. I've tasted being employed. I've tasted being employed. My recommendation is not being born, right? Both of those suck. Both of them suck. I don't want to be employed today. Today I was like, I don't feel good. Maybe I should call into work for the first time ever. Well, for the first time in a long time anyway. I was like, I don't feel sick. Go to work. But the thing is, if I called in sick, as soon as my boss said, we'll get you covered, Jonathan, I would feel terrible immediately because it's like, I'm supposed to feel good. Well, now I have the rest of the day off. I wouldn't do anything. And then midnight would come. I'm like, well, I would be off work by now and I would be driving home by now. And it's just like, what did I do with those 8 hours? It did nothing with them. Anyway, going back. There are people that actually espouse the opinions you're talking about, and they are emboldened by hearing it on a platform. So not harmful because it's just words. I think we can embolden anyone we want. I don't care how bold they are. And I don't care what views they espouse. And maybe they're already bold. I guess I'm not here to criminalize their ideas. If I was here to criminalize ideas, there would be some ideas that I would be here criminalizing rather more directly. Yes. Plus, you like ruining your own day. You make it easy for me. It would be as effective as the one on The Office, Lauren. You can make complaints here. I'll hear you out. I think I'm pretty fair when I hear complaints. I don't always change my behavior, but I hear it out. I saw a pic of some sea creature that looked like a human leg. And dolphins do smile. I don't know what that means. I saw a picture of some sea creature that looked like a human leg, and dolphins do smile. I wish I responded to memes faster than because I could understand them. But this is a great comment, even though right now I don't understand it. John, recycling bin as a complaint box. Well, recycling is a scam, so I guess I wouldn't necessarily do that. Nuns with guns. I think that was a photo for your charity, John. Human legs. I now I really wonder what that was that they're referring to. I hate starting a new show. I just rewatch everything I know. Yep, you're back on Blue Bloods season 1, I'm sure. That only happens when you start a new show from the middle of the season. No, not for me. I turn it on and it's the pilot. And they carefully lay it all out to explain all the characters with lots of exposition and typical situations for them. Hate it. Great Britain has a super short seasons for their shows, like only 6. I don't like that at all. I have mixed feelings about it because I feel like, with the exception of Doctor Who, they don't overdo anything. Like Mr. Bean. Are you aware that there's only like 9 episodes of Mr. Bean? There needs to be like 100 of those. They could do 100 episodes of Mr. Bean without overdoing Mr. Bean. You are supposed to read left to right and then top to bottom. Well, whatever. I do it however I feel. That's the whole point. Just got an update. Does not appear to be a stroke this time. Looking a little better. Was it a TIA? Or what happened? I would love to have a group of friends or just a couple of close friends like I used to, but nobody wants that when you get older. That's, I think, kind of where I'm headed. Because, like, I've had some friends for a really long time. Like, my oldest friend, he's been my friend for like 36 years. And then I've got some other friends who I've been friends with for like basically as long as I've lived here. So it's like 20 plus years. And it's like, I have no desire to ever see them or spend time with them. Why is that? it doesn't matter to me. When I do see them, we pick up right where we left off, but like I don't feel any reason to see them. I really liked the show Fleabag, but it was way too short. I never saw that one. Don't overthink it. One day, General will realize we were here because we like him. We like him what? More hate. Here we go. Oh. It won't show that meme. And now it won't show any of them. There we go. Gee, Bert, why isn't China concerned about climate change? Because they already have a communist government. Yes, I bet you didn't know that's the reason. That is the reason, though. Maybe not. Maybe it's really just about making liberals wealthy because they commission all these studies on climate change, whether it's heating or cooling or whatever. And then you have all these government subsidies going to academia who then have their whole jobs and their whole livelihoods because of grants from leftist politicians. And so those people then make donations to various liberal causes, which all goes into the big caucus, which continues to get certain people elected. So it's a way of politicians stealing money from all people in this country in order to pay for them to be reelected and for their buddies to be enriched. The 4 stages of a day off. I will do so much stuff. Later, I'll do lots of stuff. Eventually, I'll do some stuff. Oh, no. This is why I was up until Sunday morning, midnight, because I laid in bed until 11 a.m. and then I got up and then I went back to bed and just sort of laid there until about 1 p.m. And then it was time to do things. And then I was running my ass off the rest of the day. I'll never learn. You don't need an oil change. Maybe you just need to be happy with the oil you have. Or just add more oil. That's what I did for years. I might go to both of these. Combat here at noon. I think I could go to combat. And then loneliness, Wednesday through Friday at 4 p.m. Does it say meals available? I would love to feel lonely and eat a meal. The moon can't control you if you're dehydrated all the time. Hell yeah, brother. That's why I never drink water. I'm not falling for the moon's tricks. Pro tip, guys. We are heading into that season. If you're not there already, avoid being bothered by wasps at barbecues this summer. All you have to do is put a blob of jam onto a small child to lead the wasps away. Maybe Hitler kind of got fucked up because in his infancy, he spent it seeing various people in futuristic gear point a gun at him before going, no, I can't do it, jumping back into the portal. I mean, that would fuck up anybody, right? You constantly have people jumping out of a portal from the future and you're a baby and people are pointing a gun at you. I can see where that would warp your mind a little bit. Maybe that's how he got borderline perfect disorder. Okay, so this seems like a joke, but I'm just going to tell you right now. This is for anybody. If you call me and you're talking to people in the background, I'm hanging up. I remember one of my first girlfriends when I was in college. She would call me a lot. And she would always be talking to other people in the background. And I was like delighted to hear from her. And then it got to the point where I'm on the phone and I'd be sitting in my dorm room and I'm just like, can I go now? This is so obnoxious. Didn't work out. In case you were wondering. On this day, 18 years ago, Timothy McVeigh was convicted of murdering 168 people in the 1995 bombing of the Murrah Federal Building in Oklahoma City. He was executed 4 years later. Who is your favorite Bears wide receiver of all time? Is that Brandon Marshall? Is that who that is? I think that Jacob Infante got his posts mixed up. I don't think he was paying very close attention. By the way, I recently watched a Netflix documentary about the Oklahoma City bombing. It was tremendously good. I'm not sure what it was called, but if you just look up, if you just do a search for Oklahoma City bombing, you'll find it. Tremendously good documentary. I knew some of that because I remember it happening and just paying attention to the news because it was obviously a huge deal. But really, really, really good documentary. Emotional where it needs to be, but also just really informative. I already did that one. I already did that one too. Boy, it just logged them all up. All right. I went into Domino's and said, pizza, pizza. And they shot me in the chest with a rifle. They're always ready for that guy. By the way, here's something that should have played earlier when I was having too many thoughts. I think I'm actually going to save this one because let's face it, gang, I have plenty of station difficulties here. And if I can throw this up on the screen, will I fix stuff? I think, maybe you play a little elevator music. It's throwback gold. When I was a tiny baby, a witch put a curse on me to eat chips. Yeah, that's what happened. I'm grateful to be living in the Tetris when it's going too fast and the blocks are helplessly piling up era of human history. You guys feel that way? It feels that way. Absolutely feels that way. You're feeling cocky and overconfident, and you dropped a long piece down, but you missed because you thought you were quick, you thought you were fast, you thought you were hot stuff, but you hear that thud and you didn't get to slide the piece over, and now it's all effed up. Now you're like in damage control mode, but you didn't account for your next piece because you thought you would have all this space, and it's just spinning wildly out of control, and we're just one more piece away from them overlapping and the whole screen being covered up. The good news is when it's over, we're going to be able to post a new high score for humanity. But that's it. Starting all over. Back to the wheel, back to fire. When you realize no amount of eggs will help you through this trying time. Cheerful nihilism. Probably a good account to subscribe to. I have 12 comments. Bees, felony Melanie says, yes. Why is everyone always so worried at what the climate is doing? Maybe the climate wants to go to the store without being recognized. No kidding. I've always had a very unpopular stance. Actually, as you have already heard, multiple unpopular stances. Here's the thing. A lot of people freeze to death, particularly old people on fixed incomes who can no longer afford their heating bill. They'll sit there in their apartments, these old people, with an Afghan or a shawl wrapped around them, and then they will be found frozen. So I would rather have those people live, and I don't care if a species of frog dies. I really don't care. I know some ecologists is like, but we need the frogs. I don't care that much about the frogs. I care about grandma. I live in the real world. I don't care about some frogs. I care about somebody's loved one. So whatever. So if it's a few degrees warmer and they can survive the winter, I'm all about it. You could call it short-sighted, but I'm a humanitarian, baby. Bees! Taliu said, Bert and Ernie were my favorite characters on Sesame Street, along with Oscar the Grouch. Oscar was number one for me. It should be a surprise to no one. Cookie Monster. I didn't like how wasteful Cookie Monster was. And Big Bird was a bit of a goody-goody. I didn't like Big Bird. What about Snuffleupagus? He's a little depressed, right? One of the time travelers going to give me the lotto numbers. I don't think they have any interest in doing that. I haven't seen it, but there's a documentary about a cat cult where you have to have cats to join. I guess you're about to point figures. I have a weird cult. So Tanner says that's so relatable. I don't know what he thinks is relatable, but I'm glad. And welcome to the show, Tanner. Anyone else who has dreams of Tetris blocks if you play it too much? Yes, I do that. Something that's interesting, Talia, that I've mentioned on the show, but I think this is before you got here, is that Tetris is actually used to treat people with depression. And in times where I have been very, very dangerously depressed, I have played lots of Tetris because it kind of helps you switch to a more logical mode of thinking rather than emotional self-rumination and circular thinking. You can think more progressively and literally. You're problem solving, and it kind of gets you into a problem solving state instead of like constantly just thinking about how terrible things are and how sad you are and how grief stricken you are. It gets you to perform a problem solving function that's not emotionally based. And for me, when I'm not feeling good, I play Tetris and it helps. I get so sick of people saying this correlation doesn't equal causation. These are people who would just naysay anything. Tanner doesn't dream. Too much PTSD. The frogs are gay and the birds are drones. Cookie Monster all day. I don't think so. Cookie Monster is wasteful. I was hungry as a child. I wanted those cookie bits. Tanner's at work, so he can't stay long. He's out there doing God's work. Tetris saves lives. It's probably helps to save mine. I'm not saying there weren't other factors, but where were we at? Oh, yes, DeVito. We need to hurry. I've got lots more memes. Holy shit, I talk too much. I wish it was 1600 so I could spell words however my heart desired. That's the thing. Spelling used to be that way. You used to just do whatever you wanted. There's no formal spelling. And I'm kind of mad that there is formal spelling now because, like, if every word is just made up and then the spelling of it's just made up, I mean, English makes no sense, people. What do we care? Thou canst spell words however thou likest already if thou isn't a coward. Coward, Cowweurde. Fluorescent jellyfish just says, please no, this is how French happened. At my wedding, you'll be able to come alone, bring a +1, or choose a -1, where you can uninvite one person of your choosing, no questions asked. I think it's a great system. Despite the horrors, there's always look at phone in bed. That is something I've done recently. Much of this stuff comes from my algorithm. This one comes from my chat GPT. Thug life people are not my kind. Please make a note of it. Understood. I won't associate you with the cultural or worldview in future conversations. If there's anything you'd like me to remember more specifically about your values and preferences, feel free to tell me. This started as a conversation. Do dogs feel emotions? And I won't tell you how we got to this point. I already said that one. All right. One pizza chain has to go. This is our big round. We're going to spend a little bit of time on this one, and then we're going to fly through the rest of the memes. One pizza chain has to go. We're going to talk about it a little bit because each of these pizza chains has their niche. Little Caesars kind of known for the hot and ready pizza. Pizza. You just stop in. You can pick up a pepperoni, a cheese, a sausage, whatever you want. It's ready to go, and it's pretty cheap, and it's delicious. I don't care what anyone says. Pizza's a lot like sex. It's always good, even when it's bad. And Little Caesars pizza is like that. It's pizza and it's delicious. And if you want a hot pizza and you want it right now, Little Caesars are your options. Papa John's, I would say that this is probably a top quality pizza, or at least it used to be. Better ingredients, better pizza, before they got rid of Papa John himself. And before he became a sweaty mess threatening revenge, which I believe was the COVID-19 outbreak. Papa John's, top pizza. Ate that a lot as a kid. Lots of nostalgia wrapped up in Papa John's. I enjoy it. Domino's surprises me. When I was injured and when I was laid up for multiple days in a row, unable to take care of myself because a snowplow ran me off the road and my back seized the next day, I ordered a Domino's pizza and I stayed in bed throughout the weekend, remaining perfectly still, eating Domino's pizza, and then just staying in bed, trying to heal, and using the Domino's pizza to survive. Pizza Hut, on the other hand, lots of nostalgia baked into every Pizza Hut pizza. That used to be the place to go in the 90s. You could go in there for a fine dining experience like no other kind. I've not had Pizza Hut pizza in forever. However, my first and earliest and fondest memories are of Pizza Hut pizza. I want to hear from you in the chats. One pizza chain has to go. If one were to fall off the face of the earth today, which one would it be? I don't know that that's about pizza. Lawrence says Papa John's has to go. One pizza chain has to go. Lawrence says Papa John's. Felony Melanie also says Papa John's has to go. Tyler says Papa John's is dead to me. Wow, you guys were not happy with Peyton Manning taking over or Shaq taking over? Dino's or nothing. Unfortunately, we don't have access to Dino's pizza. If Dino's is the only pizza that you can eat, then I guess you're only having pizza whenever you can get back to Newport News, although I do love Dino's pizza. I love their sandwiches more than their pizza. Pizza Hut, Jenny says she's going to eliminate Pizza Hut. Maybe it's because it's so far in the rearview mirror she won't miss it. I've only eaten one of these, so I don't know. Well, just choose, Tanner. I don't want you to be left out. There's a school field trip to pizza to make pizza. We had our school field trips to McDonald's and lots of birthday parties at McDonald's. Pizza Hut was my second job, but Little Caesars, bye-bye. I am down with the Papa. Get the garlic butter. Pizza when I want to be fat. Domino's when I'm broke, and Little Caesars is when it needs to be fast. So see what I said is that they all have their role. Shorty, good morning. Good Arvo to you. Good morning. Whatever it is. Which one has to go? I don't know. She says Domino's has to go. All right. I don't know what that is. Anyway, Roman's Pizza. Moving on. DeVito offering a God a nice egg during his trying time, circa 12:55. Weekends as an adult are neat because you could do either all of your errands or you can do the things you enjoy, but either way, it's the wrong choice. Yeah, because when you get to Sunday, you're like, wow, I had a lot of fun, but I didn't get anything done. Or you could be like, wow, I got a lot of stuff done, but I didn't enjoy my weekend. Weekends need to be 3 days long. If Mario Kart was about pure driving, I would win every race. But unfortunately, my competitors insist on engaging in a great deal of unsportsmanlike behavior. You can turn all the items off. I've insisted on that sometimes. I've turned off many of the items. I like to kind of just have the classic items on that were from the original SNES game, because there's a lot of things now that I just don't understand. Blue turtle shells, I guess, I don't get it. So boomerangs, not about it. So I try to just have the classic items on. But I think F-Zero is for people who just like to race on Nintendo. I don't think that's what Mario Kart is for. Guys, remember, holding a hot dog is natural, whereas holding a mouse is very unnatural. That's how you get Saddam Hussein in your arm. What? It's twisted. There's nothing I could possibly have in common with someone that has a family group chat. Any of you guys have family group chats? I'm going to tell you right now, I've been drafted into a family group chat, and I don't like it. I ignore it. I literally am Googling how to get out of a family group chat. It's harder to do on Samsung. Pope Leo XIV is the first pope to know exactly what Dave Matthews did on August 8th, 2004. We remember Dave Matthews. Of course, it doesn't really affect me, so I forgive you, but the Pope might still be mad about it. Calls my sister while babysitting her kids. Are they allowed to smoke inside? This is exactly how I would treat my sister's kids. I would call her, are your kids allowed to smoke inside? I miss when goon just meant you were a lower tier henchman for a big time crime lord. Yeah, now goon kind of has its own meaning. I guess I like hired goons. Like when a henchman might subcontract out some thuggery to someone, that would be a hired goon, because you have a henchman who's actually a dedicated part of the organization. A goon is just any kind of union worker that's there itinerantly or contingent to a day's pay, or just there to perform one specific job, a hired goon. I like it when the hierarchy made sense. Whatever you're feeling, whatever you're going through, I want you to know this. Camping is not the answer. Pretending you're homeless is not the right thing to do. Hurting your back, not the right thing to do. I didn't say hiking is not the right thing to do. You can go for a hike, but I don't want you to go camping. Neil deGrasse Tyson is actually the Lord's most powerful evangelist, who brings people to Christ by making atheism so unbearably cringe that it leaves you begging for literally anything else. I get so sick of Neil deGrasse Tyson. Actually, I remember like finding him for the first time doing some documentary on Netflix called The Planets, and I found him kind of intriguing initially, but like, yeah, hate that guy. Wouldn't say hi to him if I met him. My therapist, you definitely have clinical burnout. Oh, man. Well, how long is it going to take to fix that? Because I've got a lot of stuff that needs doing. What? This is me, guys. I don't even have time to heal. Maybe you don't either. Does anyone else have that kind of ADHD where you just kind of refuse to open mail? Boy, I went through this. It's called my 20s. I used to get lots of important mail too, because that was kind of like in the era where a lot of businesses still did business with you by way of mail, and I would not open mail because mail was always bad news. Never opened mail. And boy, did I get into trouble for not opening the mail. I felt like I was too irresponsible for mail, and I wanted to have my mail privileges revoked. And that's actually a plot in Seinfeld, is that someone, I think Jerry he doesn't want mail anymore because all mail's bad. It's all junk mail or mail that he doesn't want. So he goes, I think he seeks out the post office to say like, no thanks, I don't want any more mail. And of course, Newman and the postmaster all like, if you pull at this thread, the whole system comes undone. Probably a great episode. But if I can get this thing to work, we can close out the show. Shorty is at 2:43. Is that where she's at in the episode? Boy, Shorty, all I could say to you is that if that's where you are, just hang on. Oh my God, this weekend I had nothing really planned that I needed to get done, and no gym. I didn't know what to do with myself. I just paced around the house with anxiety over not doing something. I can't. I am in the same way. If I'm not busy, I can't relax. You can't just sit down and chill out. It's not possible. Donkey Kong is an impossible game to play, by the way. The first one? The first Donkey Kong game? I think a lot of people enjoyed playing that. I think it was a hit. I never played it. I think I played a computer port called Jumpman, and I don't think I really enjoyed it. Papa John's all the way. Never started a family chat. Faking one's death to get you out of a group chat. Yeah, but even then, you're still in it. How do you literally uncouple yourself from a group chat? So anyone knows, tell me quick. Camping is a lot of work and an unreliable toilet availability. Yeah, no. Fuck that. Camping is the answer. Fire is therapy. You can have a fire without camping, buddy. You can have a fire at home. I'm the one in the family group chat that sends the wildly inappropriate memes. Maybe that's how I need to get out. Guys, I figured it out. My sister inspired me and Chase convinced me. All I have to do is start sending, because like this family group chat, there's a bunch of pretty liberals in there. We have some people that like we're kicking people out of the family during COVID because they wouldn't get vaccinated. They were basically saying like, don't ever come see me ever again if you're not vaccinated. It was pretty brutal behavior, pretty unloving behavior. Perhaps it's time that I send them all the memes I have that say everything that I was right about during COVID. Now is the time, right? Why not? And if they don't like it, they can kick me out of the family group chat because I don't want to be in. I can get in my revenge and I can be asked to leave. This is what you call a double whammy, or a two whammy is what my sister would call it. Clinical burnout is what happens when I need another doobie. I don't know what that means. My sister trying to spark hatred and alienation through hateful behavior by saying ADHD isn't real. I think we all know that's not true. Many of these memes have no punctuation and run on sentences. It drives me crazy. Is it run on sentences or is it polysenditon? Perhaps it's the structure is simply designed to create a sense of immediacy through polysenditon. Just something to think about. Leave me alone. I'm picking up a new hobby for the week. Just call me when I'm learning how to make leather armor. You've mentioned leather more than one time today. Is this why you didn't like playing Donkey Kong? Most of my family are first responders, so they have really dark too. I'm probably on some sort of list. House fires are frowned upon. What if it's in a fireplace or in a fire pit? Firefighters frown upon you having backyard fires in heavy residential areas. Well, so what if they frown on it? It is completely legal here. I mean, if you aren't close with your family, you have group chats. Anytime you're added to the group chat and gets deleted, that's my solution. Jenny, at the risk of exposing something here, I think that you possibly know how to handle that situation better than I do. Who said that? Nobody kicked anyone out for not getting vaccinated. I'll discuss this with you soon. I don't tell Tyler. I don't tell them it's, I said it's cool. And they don't want me there, so they delete me in the chat. Oh, yes, that's what I'm going for. We had a family chat where my brother moved to Germany. He got all butthurt about Elon wanting a weekly email. And he left the family chat because he hates Trump. Fucking commie. Okay, how did he leave, though? That's what I want to know. Because I don't need to be updated on everyone's lives. They're like sending me little details about their minutiae, and I don't need to know it. Don't care. Currently holding down the group chat between our father, a landline. A landline from 20 years ago. Oh, you'd think I was a genius, but no, somebody's just an idiot. I have ADHD and I fully believe it's real. Then why would you say things that are just incendiary? Why would you say things just to give other people, and just to embolden them? All right, we're about done. It's the first time I know Jenny talking about submissives. Okay, we never talked about that, but maybe that's fine. Most of the time, cooking fires and recreational fires are unable to be told if you can't have them. I don't know. What are you talking about here? Most of the time, cooking fires and recreational fires are unable to be told you can't have them. Yes, in this country. He's up in some other country. He's up in Canada where they're not allowed to do anything. My dad has a landline, same number from 62 years ago. You tell him to hold on to that no matter how much it costs. All right, gang. It's been a long show, an hour and 18 minutes. That's a bit long for me. I've done everything I can to alienate and push everyone away, and yet everyone's still here. Although we had a few people come and go. Thanks so much for watching this episode of Smoke Break. I hope it was a little bit more acidic than Coffee Break, and there's some kind of appreciable difference for you. We'll be back on Thursday night with some kind of show about something. I don't know. I literally have no idea what it'll be. I wouldn't mind taking a week off, to be honest with you, because I'm clinically burned out. We'll catch you all later on Thursday night. Take care, everybody. And to Chase's great aunt, all the best.